Welcome back, everybody. Final half hour of the week here on the big show. Getting ready for a fun sports weekend. I mentioned we'll give you all the start times. You got to stay up late over the next few days to watch the Wolves of the Wild. They got some late starts coming. We'll give you that before we sign off here on this Friday. Anytime that we have an athlete in our neck of the woods that's going to play in the Big Ten in any sport, we make sure we get them on the show, especially our next guest who we last talked to right after the Moorhead girls won the Section 8 AA championship and we're returning to the state hockey tournament. It has been a whirlwind last couple months for Taylor Kressin, who yesterday officially signed to play at The Ohio State University to play women's hockey for the Buckeyes. The Spuds goalie joins us now. So when I say that, what goes through your mind now officially? You're going to Ohio State.
I think it kind of feels surreal. I don't know if it's going to feel fully real until I get into Columbus for the first time.
So give us the backstory, because I had people asking me about your great run in Moorhead has produced Division I hockey players of late. They were like, well, what's going on with the goalie? What's Taylor? What was your recruiting process like prior to basically the last 2 months?
Yeah, I would say it was a little bit slower. I think I had opportunities, but they weren't exactly the ones I wanted. They weren't what I think fit what I wanted to do in college hockey. So I kind of said, I'm going to pass that by. And I had trust in my abilities and trust in what I had done in the last end of my high school season, knowing that it would hopefully work out. Then after we won section final, I get off the ice and my goalie coach is like, hey, you got to call us Ohio State tomorrow. And I don't think that really felt real either. And then I didn't know it at the time, but they flew in to watch me play our quarterfinal game at the X. And then, yeah, I went on a visit.
Okay, so when did you find out that they were watching you play at the state tournament?
About 2 weeks later, my mom casually brought it up in a conversation. Oh yeah, like I met Nadine and Logan. And I was like, wait, what? Like, when did you meet them? And they were like, oh, at your game when you played Holy Family. And I was like, I had no idea until about 2 weeks later.
So, okay, you find that out that a Big Ten school is interested, and not just any. I mean, Ohio State won the championship last year. They played for the title this year. What's going through your mind?
I'm just super excited. I think I waited so long for an opportunity that I thought was something that I wanted, and I had worked for something like this. And I think it's everything I could have ever hoped for to be doing for the next 4 years. And Columbus is a beautiful place. Ohio State's a beautiful campus. It's a great school. I'm going into a program with an incredible culture. I just don't think there's anything more I could have asked for.
So, when you went this week, did they offer, or they offered before, or they needed to see you on campus?
No, so usually they offered me while I was on my visit.
Yep.
So that was fun.
Okay, so that happened. Give us the lowdown on that. Give us the backstory. How that conversation go?
It was on our drive to the airport. It was really casual. It was like, hey, and then yeah. But as I went out there, it was kind of knowing that that was the conversation of like, we want you to come out here and we want you to be our goalie for next season and join our staff. So
wow. So it's just in passing, like, hey, here's a scholarship. Like, how did it go about?
Yeah, it was really just in passing like that. It was really casual.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, okay. So that happens. Is your mind like racing and what's going through it?
Yeah. I mean, they were very upfront saying like, we want to give you time to talk this over with my family. But I think knowing that I have that opportunity with the Ohio State University and just looking back on where I was at the beginning of the season, like it was kind of surreal in that moment. I had no idea that this is where my journey would lead me. And I think it's kind of been a crazy outcome.
So when they offered, is it like an automatic yes? Did you like wait a half second? Like how long did you wait before you said yes?
Well, so in my mind, immediately when she offered me, I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm coming here. Yep, this is my place. This is my home. But I knew she wanted me to talk it over with my parents. And so we kind of waited. We talked about it a little bit in the airport on the way home. And then my dad was like, yeah, why don't you set up a call for tomorrow? And I was like, yeah, I planned on it.
So there you go. So now it's over and done with. What was their reaction when you called to say that you're going to commit?
Super excited. One of the things that stood out to me is they brought up the Frozen Four and how they lost to Wisconsin in the national championship. And she said, you kind of have to take on that hatred for losing and that hatred for what happened to us at the end of last season. And she brought up how like, that's what I need to work for now is to get back to that point and hopefully win that game at the end of the year.
What do you know about their goalie status, Taylor, and what the opportunity that potentially could be there for next season?
Yeah, I mean they graduated a starter, but they have another. They'll have a senior next year and then a sophomore next year, and they're both great people. I met one of them, and then the other one reached out to me via social media. But they're both great people, and I'm excited to be joining that goalie staff. It's competitive, and their goalie room is known for being kind of a revolving door of people. They give opportunities when it's deserved, and I think that's another thing that really stood out to me was that they don't really have like a traditional set 1, 2, 3 of where they project people.
Okay.
It's a revolving door about like who works the hardest and like giving opportunities.
I mentioned this. I mean, we showed the game when Ohio State played Wisconsin. This isn't some run of the mill. This is a team that was in the national championship game. I mean, is that intimidating, exciting, a little bit of both?
I think when I went out for my visit, that was a really intimidating environment to go into. But as soon as I met the people and I met the girls and I met the coaching staff, I think it became very much less intimidating. They're extremely welcoming. One of the girls who took me on my visit was Jocelyn Amos, who's probably one of the best sophomore hockey
Yeah.
women in the country. And you would never guess it. She is the most cool, calm. She's very polite, very like has no ego about her. You just would never guess it from that group. But I think that kind of eased a lot of the nervousness I had going into such an intimidating environment.
I want to go back. When did Division One hockey become a reality for you? Say, I can do this. I want to do it. Do you remember?
I think that was a goal ever since I put on the pads.
Mm.
I think that was something I watched my brothers play, or I watched my brother play. I grew up in an environment where my best friends wanted to play college hockey too, and my coach Mitch Hansen encouraged us to try to play college hockey and encouraged us to see that like that is something that is attainable. And then I made the move to Moorhead, knowing that that's probably what's best. And then Kraft and Mo and all those people were so supportive and were such big advocates. And then I think it finally set in when I was in about eighth grade and just realizing like, hey, if I can play at the high school level in Minnesota, like I have against all these girls who are going on to play at the college level, I think I have a shot for myself to go play at the college
I
level.
was going to say you've played high school hockey in the state of Minnesota. I mean, you go up against Division One players in your own practice and all the time. How much do you think that it's not the same? I know, but it gets you ready for what's to come.
Right. I think just day in and day out, I've gotten to work with Taylor, Kate, Ella, Bria, Olivia, all those girls who went off to play Division One. And I think just being able to also work with them in the summers, I think it's going to set me up extremely well for success when I get to the next level. And, not only the girls, but periodically I have the guys mixed in to shoot on me at goalie practice. And I think that's a big help too. But I think the culture that we built in Moorhead girls hockey of having so many girls go on to the next level is just going to keep kind of trickling down the line. And you're just going to have so many girls after me who continue to commit to play college hockey. So
Was goalie always the position, or did you play forward, defense, or was it always you had to be in the net?
after mites, I pretty much made the decision. My dad bought me a pink CCM goalie stick, and I think from there on it was goalie, and I never really wanted to play anything else.
It's a different mentality, though, Taylor. Tell us about it. I mean, that's not a position everybody else signed me up for, 75, 80 mile per hour rubberized puck be shot at my head. What does it take to be a goalie mentally?
I mean, everyone says you got to be a little crazy. I think the mental side of the game comes as you continue to play. You kind of learn how do you deal, and every one goalie is very different. You have your routines, you have your things to kind of clear the mechanism. One of the most popular sayings I think I've ever heard is having a short like memory and having a very quick mindset of being able to move on after a goal. And I think being also able to separate like your success based off of team success. I think sometimes as a goalie, it doesn't always work out. Like you can't go down there and score goals for your team. So being able to separate the fact that like, hey, I had a pretty solid game, we just didn't get the outcome we wanted.
To have this many Division One players on this past year's roster, how much do you feel you've set up Moorhead girls hockey for down the road? That this is not going to drop off. That the Spuds are going to be good for a while.
Yeah, I think even just watching our younger youth programs play right now, like those girls got it. Those girls want to attain the things that we've been able to, and I think being able to show these girls like Division One hockey is possible, and being able to be great role models for them, and like being able to have them watch us at the D1 level and like kind of aspire to be us is something that I think was the culture change in Moorhead girls hockey, and that's what our goal was to change that kind of culture. And I think those girls being able to see us playing at the next level will only increase the culture of that.
The women's world championships are going on right now. Do you have a favorite player to watch? Like I can't, this one I have to watch.
Well, I might have to give a shout out to what will be my new teammate, Joy Dune. I got a text from her when I got home from Columbus after I
Nice.
committed, and she said she was super excited to have me out there as a new goalie to shoot on and new shootouts again. So I probably have to say her. She's a grinder. He's a beast.
That's did you get a look at the football stadium, basketball? Did you get all the usual tour when you were out in Columbus?
Yep, I got to see the big football stadium. I got to go into the football practice facilities, which are gorgeous. I got to see the shop, which is where the basketball and hockey team plays. And then I got to see all the women's facilities. So that was really cool. Ohio State is the most gorgeous sports facilities
Yeah.
I think I've ever seen.
Has it gone through your mind of coming back and playing the Gophers in your mind? Have you let your mentally go there yet and playing college hockey or facing Minnesota?
I think that's going to be a crazy feeling. I don't think I'm going to understand that till I'm actually in that moment. And I think the even crazier part is that I have so many teammates who are now sprinkled all throughout the WCHA that I'm going to come home and play. I'll come to Bemidji and play Dronin, and I'll go to Mankato and play Annika. And I think that'll be such a fun experience. But coming back to Minnesota while playing at Ohio State, I think will be a surreal experience. And I don't know if I'll be able to fully comprehend that feeling till it actually happens.
My last thing for you, if you had known Ohio State was watching you at State, would that have changed your mentality going into that game, you think?
I don't know, maybe a little bit. I think my playoff run was so much focused on what I can do for my high school team and my high school best friends and teammates. And my coaching staff. I wanted so badly to perform my best for them that I think, honestly, if I would have known, I probably would have blocked out everything around me no matter what. I think I wanted it so badly for my teammates and my coaches that I have confidence I probably would have still gotten the job done.
I actually have one last one. Number 30, is there something to that? Was that just the number you were given, or is there a special attachment to that number?
That was kind of just the number I always wanted. I don't know, it just kind of resonated with me. There was no prior attachment, but now I kind of am attached to that number, and I will be wearing the same number in Columbus.
Nice.
So I'm excited for that.
Well, congratulations. I really appreciate you making time. This is super cool, and good luck. We'll check in down the road, okay?
Thank you so much for having me.
Taylor Kressin from Moorhead High School, newly signed goaltender. I have to say this, I'm obligated. The Ohio State University should be playing for the Buckeyes next season. Of course, Ohio State was the national runners-up in women's hockey. They lost to Wisconsin in overtime in the national championship in Minneapolis last month. We'll take our final break. We'll come back. We'll wrap things up and get you ready for a fantastic sports weekend. That's coming up when Hot Mike wraps right after this.